that wants to know the truth about Palestine and Israel. To do that, we need to go back to the 10th century before Jesus Christ was born, and we will find a group of people called the Philistines. The Philistines originally inhabited this land of Canaan, as it was known. The Philistines were defeated by King David, and the land of Canaan become the land of Israel, known as the Promised Land. King David conquered the Philistines according to the laws of war, and for all of history, to the victor goes the spoils. So now, legally and by right of conquest, the tribes of Israel under David and Solomon, this is their land. It was that way for a long, long time, actually until the year 70 AD. Hundreds and hundreds of years, this was the land of Israel. 70 AD, the Roman Empire traversed its way into the land known as Judea at this time and conquered Jerusalem. When they conquered Jerusalem in 70 AD, they allowed the Jewish people that were still left to stay there until the year 135 AD. In 135 AD, the emperor by the name of Hadrian, Hadrian, had had enough of the revolts by the Jewish people. They would continuously stir up skirmishes, and Rome was tired of it. So in 135 AD, Hadrian expelled all the Jews. They had to go. When he expelled them, he wanted to send a message loud and clear to all the Jewish people. So therefore, the land of Judea, which was the home of the Israelite people, was renamed by Emperor Hadrian, and the name that was given to it was a slap in the face of the house of Israel. What did he name this land? He named it exactly what it was before Israel took it over: Philistines, except there was a slight changing in the spelling. It was known as Provincia Palestinia. That means the province of Palestinia. The city of Jerusalem completely changed the name. He wanted nothing left of Jerusalem or Israel. So now he changed the name of Jerusalem by just his own command and named it Aelia Capitolina, which is the capital. So now all the Jews are gone. The Jewish names are gone. The history seems to be eradicated forever. That lasted until Constantine invaded and started what's known as the Byzantine Empire. That happened shortly thereafter in 150 AD. This is when the Byzantine Empire, which was a Christian empire, ruled Jerusalem. And now, what did they do? They returned the name Jerusalem and Israel. So now it's no longer Provincia Palestinia or Capitolina. Once again, it is Jerusalem and Israel, thanks to Constantine. Now, whenever Constantine took over as the emperor, they built churches, all Christian churches. The only people that were living here at that time in Jerusalem was Christians, because Jews were forbidden to return. We know this because the Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built during the Byzantine Empire, and it remained that way until the 7th century. So until the 7th century, it's still Jerusalem and Israel. It had had a name change for a short period of time, Provincia Palestinia. Okay? But now we're back to Jerusalem. Now only Christians could live there. However, that all changed in 638 AD. An army invaded Jerusalem, and that army was led by Umar al-Khattab. Umar was the father-in-law of the prophet Muhammad of the Muslim religion. It was this man who led the Arab armies into Jerusalem, the Arab armies, and when he did, he took over Jerusalem. He kept the name, and then what he did was built the temple or the Dome of the Rock on the holy temple site that was in Jerusalem. Whenever the Arabs took over, they allowed 70 Jewish families to move back to their homeland. It was that way from 638 all the way to 1917. Yes, that entire space of time, it was Muslim territory, Arab territory, and the Muslim religion controlled the region once known as Israel and Jerusalem. Now, what happened in 1917? It is because of this long history that the Palestinians scream to this day that Israel took their homeland, talking about the Palestinians. But is that true? No, it's not. Because the very way that the Arab people, the Palestinians, got Jerusalem was through conquest. They destroyed the Byzantine Empire, and to the victor goes the spoils. And they've enjoyed those spoils all of this time. It was known as the Ottoman Empire. The Ottoman Empire controlled Jerusalem until 1917. What happened in 1917? World War I, the Battle of Jerusalem. The British Empire, on whom the sun never set, was expanding their empire even further. They captured Jerusalem in 1917 by winning a treacherous battle. Now, this army was led by General Edmund Allenby, who conquered Jerusalem on December the 11th, 1917. Whenever he went into Jerusalem, he took it from the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire, the Arab people, the Palestinians, surrendered to the superior army of Great Britain. Now, many of you may not know that Great Britain was filled with the lost tribes of Israel, the half-brothers, if you will, of the Jewish people. And they had always wanted to restore a homeland for the Jewish people. Great Britain, now in 1917, received this letter from the Palestinian leaders surrendering the city. And I'm going to read the letter to you. It says, due to the severity of the siege of the city and the suffering that we have endured from your heavy guns, and for fear that deadly bombs will hit the holy places, we are forced to hand over to you the city through Hussein al-Husseini, the mayor of Jerusalem, hoping that you will protect Jerusalem the way we have protected it for more than 500 years. So yes, the Palestinian people are very connected to the land. The Ottoman Empire that brought them in was there for over 500 years. However, they were defeated. They surrendered. They gave Jerusalem and Israel away because the laws of war are clear. To the victor goes the spoils. In 1922, the United Nations, known as the League of Nations at that time, gave an international mandate to Great Britain to be a protector of the land of Israel and an administrator. And so they did by establishing a homeland for the Jewish people. For some reason, the Palestinians mistake that as occupation. You cannot occupy what is yours. All of Israel, all of this Canaan land, was won fair and square in a war. And the United Nations signed off on it. And from that day, it became part of the British Empire. The British are free to do with it as they will. And they did. They patrolled the streets of Jerusalem for nearly 40 years, keeping Jerusalem safe. One day they tired of all of the skirmishes and having to keep up with the entire region. So in 1948, Great Britain released its control of this holy land and gave it to the Jewish people, as was their right. Now, that's not occupation. Israel has not occupied this land. The land is theirs, given to them by a British and an international mandate. Now, early in their existence, there was a war called the 6-Day War, where all the Arab countries, still angry, I'm sure, came up against Israel. And they could have defeated Israel, taken their land back, what they thought was their land, and the rest would be history. But alas, that didn't happen. No, they came up against Israel and were defeated, embarrassingly so, in the 6-Day War. They had to retreat. Then the Yom Kippur War, where again they surprise attacked Israel. They could have taken the land, but they were not able to. They were defeated by Israel. Now, Israel, in an attempt to keep peace with their Arab neighbors, began to make many concessions of land. The West Bank, Gaza, just to satisfy them, just to be at peace with them. In 2005, Israel completely withdrew from Gaza. It has not occupied Gaza in almost 20 years. That's the whole story. Israel is not occupying Palestinian land. They are ruling their land. Thank you for watching.